Today we're working on the 1956 Packard. This is the 374 V8. The water pump is making a lot of noise. It's been replaced in the past. I don't know exactly what's going on, but to me it sounds like the bearing might be going out. So today we are going to replace the water pump. This should be the same for all the Packard V8s. Doesn't matter the size, the water pump is the same for all of them. So first things first, we need to go ahead and drain the cooling system and get that out of the way so we don't make a mess. All right, while that's draining, let's go ahead and get the fan off. So we need to take off the belt here first. So we'll loosen up this bolt here. Might loosen up these bolts down here that hold in the generator to make sure that it has enough play in it to be able to slide forward. 1/2 inch on the nut on the bolt. We'll go ahead and push that generator forward. Loosen up the belt and then take it off. So to get the fan and the pulley off, they come off together. There are 4 7/16 nuts here that need to come off. I put a little bit of cardboard in front of my radiator so I don't damage that. And I left the belt just kind of slack here in the back since we're going to put it back on. If I wanted to take it all the way out, you have to take off the power steering belt here as well, which is no big deal, but there's no reason to take that off here at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and take off the fan and the pulley, and then we can get to the water pump. I'm not going to record this part because it's pretty tight quarters in there, and I'm going to need both hands in order to get it done. Okay, fan's off. The pulley won't come out unless the water pump comes with it. Of course, if you're taking the radiator out, that's not a problem. I'm going to see if I can do it without. So take off all the bolts here for the water pump. These are all 1/2 inch, and there are 6 of them. So we'll start taking those off and take the pump and the pulley out together. All right, have the old one out. The impeller looks pretty good. No deep pitting or anything like that. The bearing seems to spin fairly easily. Now when I compare that to the new one, you can see the impeller here has had some corrosion in the past, but the new one is very stiff compared to the old. So it looks like the bearing on the old one that I took out had gotten worn down somehow. It's not that old of a water pump, but just looks to have seen better days. So we're gonna get the new one prepped and ready to go in, have a new gasket for it here. Also have some new copper crush washers. The ones that were on there need to be replaced. Always want to start fresh. Got the gasket surface nice and clean. Used a gasket scraper and Dremel with a wire brush as well. Also down here, that little hole is the water manifold bypass, and that needs to be nice and clear. So double check that before you put the new pump on. At this point, we're ready to go ahead and get the new one installed. All right, new pump is in. New copper crush washers on all the bolts. I also did use some RTV silicone on both sides of the gasket. Very lightly done, but just an extra precaution to make sure that it does not leak. I also did do a little PTFE thread sealant on the bolts as well. I really don't want to have to take this fan back off. Not the most enjoyable job ever, and so I am doing everything I possibly can to make sure that there are no leaks. So now we'll go ahead and get the pulley and the fan back on and start putting things back together. For the fan, I drew an F on the front just to make sure that I didn't have this installed backwards. So just a little something to make it easier, because putting it in backwards would not be a great thing. So quick tip here, getting the pulley, the fan, and the hub on the water pump lined up, it's kind of a pain. Easiest way to do it is keep the fan off, put the pulley on the hub, and then take a bolt and find where the actual hole is at and put that in. Then go ahead and make a mark on your pulley, and you're going to make a mark as well on the hub. You can't see it here because the bolt's in the way. And then you're going to line that up right in the middle of where the blades meet, and that's how you know how to get your hole. So get one of those in, flip it over to the other side, and you've got it lined up, and then the other two can follow afterwards. Fan is back on, pulley's back on, coolant refilled, belt is back on, tension is set to 1/2 inch deflection right here at this point with what they call normal thumb pressure. At that point, that should be everything here. So we'll get it started up and let's see how quiet it is. So far things sound pretty good. I'm not hearing the same noise that I heard before, no signs of leaks. So we'll see, we'll keep an eye on things and see if anything comes back up again, but that's how you replace the water pump.